return to the mind unless you get a little bit more awareness, because that's really part of my intention today, is to give you some things to like start practicing and implementing between now and the start of the year. So regardless if you continue on with my series or just take things on your own, which is obviously working so well for you.
Hey.
Well, why did you think I was saying that to you?
You're being kind of judgmental here.
No, just an observation. Just an observation. No judgment around it. No, that was myself when I had to realize that what I was doing really wasn't working so well. But yeah, I want to give you guys some ideas so you can start becoming more aware of your own thought processes from this point forward. I mean, that's really what it's all about, is heightening your awareness around yourself and understanding how other people operate, because you're not alone. And you know, we are not alone. If I'm operating this way and you're operating this way and you and you and you and you, everybody out there is operating this way too. So when you can realize that it's just a drunk monkey running their show, you can stop taking them so serious as well. And it'll really free up a lot of frustration for you. So another thing about the mind, besides keeping you safe, is that it's never satisfied. Never satisfied. Always wants more.
So it's normal?
Yeah. You're not alone. It's never satisfied. That's how it keeps you moving forward. That's how it keeps you progressing. That's what gets you off the couch. That's what gets you to eat food. That's what gets you to do the things that you need to do in order to survive in life. Your mind's never satisfied. It's always going to want more. It's the perpetual grass is greener. It's always greener because you think about it. You're like, okay, I'm going to get this job, and it's going to be the best job ever. And you get to the job, and you're like, yeah, this job rocks. And then like a couple months later, you're like, yeah, the job's okay. And a few months later, you're like, this job really sucks. And it's not at all what I thought it was going to be, because in my mind, it was a party every day. And in here, it's hell every day. So that's how the mind works. So then you get complacent, you get a bad attitude, you stop getting along with your coworkers, you quit or you get fired, whatever, you move on. And then this is the shiny new thing. And then this is the shiny new thing. And then this is the shiny thing. And then you get here and you're like, no, it's that one. No, it's that one. No, it's that one. And that's how the mind works, to keep you moving forward, to keep you progressing. It's a very, very brilliant tool, just like the whole survival thing, but only when you use it for yourself and with yourself instead of against yourself. When you're letting that run amok, then it's always chasing that carrot. Doesn't matter. It just gets to be a bare carrot. That's it. And then you get that realize that that's just a function of your brain. You can stop making it so wrong. And you can start to realize that the only reason that you want the next thing is because you got to this point. So stop and recognize where you're at. And start to have appreciation for where you're at. Instead of, if I only knew that sooner, or if this had only worked out, or if they had only called me first, then I could have done this instead of that, whatever. Whatever it is, and it's always going to not think that it's enough. It's always going to want more. So you can stop making yourself wrong, or you can stop thinking that you're lacking, or whatever. You can just recognize it for what it is. So now when I get caught up in, but I just really want to go there now, I want there now, I can kind of slow down to speed up, kind of back up a little bit, and get intense gratitude for being at the point that I have the awareness and the knowledge and the skills and the accomplishments to even have the thought of wanting that next thing. Gratitude is a big, big piece of the puzzle, and stopping to be appreciative for everything that you have now is really, really the only way I feel that you can really authentically get to that next thing. So, the mind's there to keep you safe. It's never going to be satisfied. And you gotta take back control over it, and that's why monitoring your thoughts and being able to still your mind is so important. Because if you cannot monitor the thoughts, or you're unaware of what's going on, then you have no control over what's happening outside. So what's the real driving force? Like, what is it that we should really be following? For myself, what I have found to be the most serving thing to follow is my emotions. Now, most people, myself included, would feel an emotion and then run with it. I feel angry, so I'm pissed off. I feel sad, so I'm devastated. I feel frustrated. Whatever it is, I would just take that emotion and I would identify with it. I would define myself as that emotion, and I would play out whatever necessary steps go along with being angry. So my emotions were running my life. My mind was running my life. I had no say in any of it. I was just kind of a victim, which was really, really serving me at the time. but only serving my old belief system. It wasn't really serving my life. So how to kind of switch gears from feeling your emotions and just running away with them, and feeling your emotions and allowing it to be an indicator for a course correction. That's really, really key. It was really key for myself. And for myself, I started becoming really aware of the physical effects that took place in my body with the emotions. So, in a sense, quite literally, I reconnected my mind and my body. I got back into my body. Instead of just reacting to whatever came up, I started paying attention to what was physiologically taking place in my body. What was I feeling? For me, when I get scared, whenever I get uneasy, whenever I deal with fear, resistance, anything that's not gooey, yummy love, I get this pressure in my chest. I get this heaviness, and it starts to be hard to breathe. And I start to kind of take these shorter breaths, and I get this like anxiety feeling, and I get like this tingling, and it's awful. It's just this like intense like feeling that I get. And in recognizing it now and paying attention to what that feels like, now when I start to feel that creep in, when I start to feel that pressure in my chest, if I leave a conversation and I'm still carrying part of it with me on my chest, then I take that as an indicator before that takes over. It's an opportunity to shift my perspective. So remember before I said, if it's love, it's true. If it's not love, it's not true. So all this anxiety falls into the not true. So instead of getting caught up in thinking that, falling into those fears or falling into that what if scenario or falling back into, stinking thinking or, woulda, coulda, shouldas from my past. Instead, I can start to feel that anxiety. And like as I start to feel that kind of feeling, it's like, it's like ding, 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 hello. This is my chance to shift my perspective. Because I don't want to go through life feeling all yucky and crappy, and especially if I can do something about it. So instead of letting that take me over and, start making the decisions for me and get into that reaction mode, then instead I can make a choice and I can say, okay, if I'm feeling it here and I know that the only thing that brings about fear is, or that anxiety, anything that's not love. So I say fear, and that goes for anything. Depression, fear, anger, whatever, all that yucky stuff. It's not true. It's not real. So I got to get to the truth of the situation. So then I get to what I know to really be true. So say, for instance, my husband says something to me, and the tone of voice that he uses hits that point in my chest. And I'm like, I cannot believe that he just said that to me. I cannot believe he used that tone of voice. I can't believe that he would, whatever it is that he said, I start to feel that like anxiety coming up. Then I, instead of just responding back, like, oh yeah, you want to, and getting back into it and feeding that resistance with more resistance, I can realize that the only reason that I'm feeling that is because I feel threatened. For some reason I feel threatened. For some reason I feel threatened. Is my husband really a threat to me? No. What do I know to be true? That he loves me unconditionally. Well, if he loves me unconditionally, then why would he be intimidating me? Or why would he be trying to scare me? Or why would he, want me to experience anything other than love from him? He wouldn't. He wouldn't. If he really loves me, he wouldn't want me to feel this way. So is it a possibility that maybe I just misinterpreted what he said? Maybe that tone of voice came from the thought that he was having that had nothing to do with me before it came out of his mouth, and that same emotion that he was feeling was attached to the words that he used to me, but he wasn't meaning to send that energy my way. And all that this does, or all that does for me, is that it gives me a moment of pause to where I can choose how I'm going to respond instead of just reacting. So instead of just snapping right back, I can say, and make a different choice. And in the first time that I consciously did this, okay, this is how it's worked for me. I got it here, so I knew what to expect. The situation would happen, I'd be going about my day, and I'd be like, oh, that was totally the type of situation that I just learned about that I need to watch out for, but I played right into it. You get what I'm saying? I don't know if anybody else had that experience. And then it started being like, while I was in the situation, you know, I'd buy into that emotion, I'd get wrapped up in it, and then it would hit me while I was still in the situation. Now, wait a minute. I'm playing into the fears. This is all about defensiveness. You know, let's get to the truth of the matter. And then I could work my way back out. And then all of a sudden, it came to where it was like, as soon as I received that input, whatever it was, from my husband or somebody cutting you off in traffic, I mean, whatever it is that kind of triggers that emotion, then once I got triggered, I could make a different choice. So it's just the more that I thought about it, the more that I became aware about it, the more that I caught it after the fact, and then caught it in the fact, and then I could catch it before the fact. But it was like months and months and months of doing it. And now that I've figured out the formula, I can implement things a lot faster, because I'm way more aware of what goes through my mind. But I am also aware enough to know that there's probably still a lot that goes through my mind that I don't catch. And that's why it's really important for me to surround myself with people that are really honest. So they'll say, hey, Chrissy, that thing that you just said, that's one of your stories. You know, that's you're off base here. And that's really, really, really important to have in my life is people that are willing to do that for me. Because we kind of have gotten conditioned in society to be, you know, kind of people pleasers and don't ruffle people's feathers and don't rock the boat and
Politically correct.
Politically correct, yeah. We definitely have. And what happens is that we're so busy trying to please everybody and just be accepted and just, you know, not have people hate us, that we end up behaving in all these ways that's making people nuts, but nobody's telling us because they don't want to hurt our feelings. And we're doing the same thing to other people. We're letting people get away with all this crazy behavior. You love the heck out of the person when they're just being them. But then they get into their survival mode, and you see this character come out that they've developed in order to make their way through life. And when that character comes out, you're like, gosh, you know, I really, really like that girl. But every once in a while, she starts behaving this way, and I really don't like this part about her. And it seems kind of fake, and it doesn't really seem real, but you don't want to hurt her feelings, so you never tell her. Well, she doesn't know it. So she keeps doing it. She keeps doing it. She keeps doing it. She keeps doing it. And meanwhile, she's suffering in silence because all she's trying to do is please everybody. And so she's wearing all these different masks and trying to be all these things to all these different people who aren't liking her when she's doing those things and only like her when she's really being real. And that's where I've kind of gotten into my life, that I no longer see it as service to keep my mouth shut. And that doesn't mean that I hold a judgment around it. It's just an understanding. And if I'm feeling that anxiety, if I'm feeling conflicted, if something doesn't sit right with me, then I clear it up instead of just being like, well, I'll just deal with that. It's a lot easier than making her upset, and she's going to think this, she's going to think that, and I don't want to hurt her feelings. You want to know the truth behind not wanting to hurt somebody else's feelings? The truth is you don't want to deal with how it's going to make you feel to upset somebody else. It has nothing to do with the other person. Nothing. We think we're so like, oh, I'll just take one for the team, and I'll just carry the heavy load, and I'll just carry the burden, and we're just stifling ourselves. And we're stifling everybody around us. We're enabling ourselves to stay the victim. We're enabling everybody else around us to stay the victim.